So we're under the hood of the 77 Lincoln here, and I wanted to just kind of run you through what I'm trying to do for wiring repair. I started with this loom here, and one thing I wanted to show you is for each of these wires, like here's a factory wire coming out of the harness, and it was green with a yellow stripe. And I'm trying to, if I can, make the wire colors match, just because it's kind of a pet peeve of mine if they don't. So this was green with a yellow stripe. This wire I replaced it with is a little different shade green, but it still has a yellow stripe, so I thought close enough. Here was a red with a blue stripe from the factory, and I found red with a blue stripe. I'll show you how I made that work. This is a whole wiring harness out of a scrap Ford truck from the 90s. And what I came up with was all these different colors. So I've been going through this harness as I've needed different colors, and I'm trying to find the correct gauge wire in at least close to the correct color. Alright, so I wanted to show you this. The next wire we're going to repair here is this one here. I don't know if you can tell, color's really faded, but this wire used to be kind of a green with like white check marks, which is odd. You don't see that very often. I didn't have a green with white check mark, but I did find at least a green. It's green with a black stripe, but it's the same gauge. Now, it's far more important to have the correct gauge of wiring than to worry about the color. So this was the closest thing I could find to that color and that gauge of wiring. So I'm gonna show you how I splice them in. So we're gonna come in here and strip this wire. Maybe about like that. Oh, I'm gonna take my new piece of wire here, strip back a little bit of that. Now what I like to do here is to split these into kind of a Y. And I'll do the same thing on the other wire. And then I can put them together, twist them opposite directions, get them started. I'm going to take one of these. If you haven't seen these before, these are very helpful. This is a solder heat shrink connector all in one. Slide it right on the wire like this. Split both these into a Y. Together. Then twist opposite directions. Now that makes for a pretty good connection. You could probably leave it like that, heat shrink it, and it might be okay. We're gonna go ahead and solder it with this heat shrink connector here. All you do is simply slide it to where the solder point is right in the middle. You can see I've got the two blue strips on the coating of the wiring. And all I'm going to do is apply heat with a heat gun. Now this will take a second to warm up, but you'll start to see the heat shrink activate. Once it does, I try to go at different angles to make sure I get it even. Now that I got the heat shrink on there good, I'm going to focus on the solder, and you're just going to keep it there till it melts. As you can see now, the solder has melted into the wiring. We're going to allow that to cool for a couple seconds here. Now that it's cooled for a second, we're going to go ahead and slide the heat shrink up over the connection we just made. Same thing, heat gun, even disbursement, try and get the top side a little bit, work your way to the bottom side a little bit, try and get both sides. Now, we got our connection done. We're simply going to measure for length. Now I want the length to be about where it was from the factory. gonna cut it to the appropriate length, leaving just enough overhang to make the connection. Excess, we'll need that later. And we'll do the other side. 1, 2. Opposite direction. Shrink that down. And one wire successfully repaired. 5,000 to go. I'm gonna get as many done as I can today, but we got rain coming, so my goal is to have this car where it at least starts and runs and moves here pretty soon. Because to be honest, the wife wouldn't mind if I could move it out of the driveway. Alright gang, we got this harness all done. All the wires have been repaired. So the only thing we got left to do is we gotta tape it all back up, kind of like it was from the factory. So okay, not perfect, but aside from the electrical tape being new and shiny, it looks pretty close to factory. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little dirt on it and blend it right in. Now I got to put it kind of back where it was, because I'll show you why in a second. After I kind of route this down where it goes, if I remember where it goes, this wiring here is my next wiring to fix, and it routed up kind of over the valve cover to here. So I want to make sure that this harness is kind of back where it's supposed to be, so that I can get the lengths right when I go to repair those. Alright, as you can see, it's starting to rain, so we're going to call her a day. Got a little more done on this side. Got this harness done. It's not really in place yet. It sort of ends up tucked along there. I'll just kind of straighten it out and put some holders on it. The wrap didn't come out as good as I'd like because there's some bulgy spots. I might put some wire loom over that, but it's all good. Got this one down here hooked back up where it goes. I think next, oh yeah, is this main one here. We'll get to that tomorrow. So anyway, that's it for today. Check back in. See more on the old Lincoln Mark V. Thanks for joining me.